Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Ripping On. And today we have a good friend of another friend, Rob, who will be discussing his religious point of view. And basically, I will ask him a bunch of questions related to his religion, and we'll see how that branches out into the conversation. So let's get started. So, Rob, what religious belief do you have?
So it's easiest just to say, yeah, I'm Christian, non-denominational as I am, but certainly I hope to get confirmed in the Roman Catholic Church if I keep on progressing as I am. So, yeah, that would be me on that position. Is that clear enough?
Yeah, I
so
guess.
Nothing weird, no Calvinism there, no young earther stuff going on. Just just a
Hey,
belief in God.
that's definitely something interesting. So wait a minute. So are you telling me that your belief has stages to get into it? Is that what you're saying? Or your religious?
Yeah, well, certainly if you're born again, certainly if I think you come out of an atheist worldview, you're not culturally in the fold of the church or a Christian community or something like that. I think maybe it's much of that stuff is done as you're growing up, so it kind of interfolds. You'll go to church as a kid, and maybe you'll get baptized, and then maybe if you're in a Anglican or Reformed Catholic or Catholic Church, you'll get confirmed. But in other churches, as far as I understand it, certainly sometimes when you become an adult, if it's a Baptist church, you'll get baptized as an adult, and that will be your kind of rites of passage. So I think whenever you join a church, right, under that sect, or however you want to say it, it is a thing, So I realized I came to the understanding I'm a Christian, and came to it maybe 2-3 years ago. I'd say about a year ago, I, in my heart at least, fully committed to it. So I went through that myself, and then discussions with other Christians, the faiths and stuff. I'm at this point now where I think, come out of the cucked non-dom position, get off the fence, pick a team, and get on it. So I think yeah, certainly for people that come back in or discover their belief in God, it's certainly a process.
Okay.
It's a journey. Yeah.
That was quite a lot. So my next question to you is, what is your belief, and what is the God you believe in?
So the belief is that is in God, the one true God, is Jesus Christ. So that's pretty simple. What do you want to say? What do you want to say about it? Yeah, I mean, what are you looking for more than the simple up front?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Belief in Christianity.
I can be a little more specific. Okay, so what are exactly the abilities of this God of yours?
Oh, it's great. It's everything, isn't it? He's the ontological God. He's all powerful, all knowing.
Okay, well, that doesn't really answer the question. Being all knowing and all whatever. Okay, so you have to be a little more specific. What exactly can this God do exactly?
Right, so he was there at the beginning, he will be there at the end. He knew the end at the beginning. All things that were created came through him and are made by his plan. Nothing can escape his plan. And we are given free will to exist in this universe, which he's created for us. And he hopes that our free will allow us to love him and draw ourselves to a righteous life in his eyes.
Okay.
So that would be good.
Okay, yeah. That's interesting. Now, your point of view, it makes a lot of sense for the concept of a God. Okay, so in your human perspective, why would he have needed to make humanity to begin with if he has all these abilities?
Yeah. So he is absolutely not contingent or dependent on anything. In his triune nature, he is certainly self-dependent, right? He can in his triune nature things like love, which are obviously transactory, right? Because if you had a single God, a one God, right, and on
Mm-hmm.
like this, like in Islam, well, of course you'd say, can God love without creation? Well, he can't love without creation, can he? Because love is a transaction.
Wait,
It
okay.
takes
I,
two.
I have to object right there. Listen. So the
Mm,
thing about it is, you're attaching human concepts to a thing that is
mhm,
supposedly all knowing, right? So then
mm,
this thing would know what love is and would be able to experience
mm,
love without the need of another thing. So you got to be a
mm.
little more, you got to separate them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we understand that we're made in his image, right?
Okay. Okay. So
Right. And
okay. So
he made everything. So everything that we can see is of nature, all characteristics, all aspects, all categories that we can understand with our little monkey brains,
okay.
right, are
Hmm.
of him. How we understand it. So something like love, so archetypical, and obviously we say God is love,
Hmm.
right? But we say we understand the phenomena of love, right? You understand the phenomena of love. Even without God, we have an experience of love, right? Not lust, but love, right? A sacrificial willingness, a givingness to someone else, right?
Um.
An absolute giving.
Do you,
Yeah.
okay.
No.
So no, that doesn't work either. You do understand there are people in this world who cannot experience
Mm.
love and don't understand the concept of love, right?
Well, are you talking about a psychopath? Are you talking about someone with severe mental disabilities?
All those
What
could
are
be
you saying?
possibilities. Children don't know what love is. Infants don't know what love is. There are a huge
Ah,
variety of humans who don't understand this.
right. So the exceptions disprove the rule. Would be your
No, 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 no.
layout.
I'm
If
pointing
I can
out
find
your
something which,
no, no.
okay.
I'm pointing out that you're saying that it's a transactional thing that we all basically know, which is wrong.
Well, I can love somebody who can't love me back, right?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a two-way process. It just has to involve two persons, right?
Yes.
For one to love the other, but it's not that they cannot love the other if that other cannot love them back. And that person can still love that person, even if, I don't know how, through science or some kind of observations, we could say it really seems clear that that person isn't in any way aware of that love,
Uh-huh.
right? But it would still be love,
Yeah.
but it would still require that subject object relationship.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not too sure what you're trying to get at.
Well, it was just at that beginning that you'd say, why did God make this creation, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
is he contingent on his creation? Is God in essence only God if he creates? Therefore, his character somehow is dependent on his creation, right? But
No,
certainly
no,
from
no.
my worldview, I don't believe that.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
where I'm asking you. Why would he have
Mm,
needed to create a thing and then have that
exactly.
thing come back to him when he could have just had nothing or even the perfect thing? Why create something that is imperfect technically
Yeah.
by your standards, than to have that thing come back to him?
Well, by his standards, not mine. But yeah, so we're going, what? Why would God create that which he doesn't
Why
create?
would
Have a
something
relationship with that?
Okay, so let's
Mhm.
just let's just go off of what you said that you believe God to be, right? You believe that God is this all-knowing thing. Now, just with the concept of all-knowing, if you want to go to the extremes, which my brain already went to, an all-knowing thing needs no reason to make anything for it to know something.
But if he loves that which he creates and wants them to experience it, well, then
No,
suddenly he
no, no,
does have
no.
a good
Yet
reason.
again, yet again. it already knows. If you're going with the all-knowing aspect, then that thing, that God
Yeah.
of yours, would know
Yeah.
everything that we would have experienced, all the things that we would have loved, and all the things that we would care about. It would know all of that already and would have no need, sorry, to actually make the thing. If I knew all the
Not true.
possibilities in the world, I would not move because I already know all the possibilities. Do you understand? You wouldn't have to move because your movement is
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a
pointless.
very simple idea, but it's only one dimensional, right? Because it's going, if I knew everything, then I wouldn't need to experience anything new. Now, of course, God, being omnipotent, right,
Uh-huh.
in this way, all right,
Uh-huh.
is not lacking in that. He's not curious about what might happen. This is true,
Uh-huh.
right? But because he knows us, right? If you have your daughter, right, or your son or your friend, your best friend, right, and you've
Uh-huh.
created this day, right, with all these plans. Now you know everything that's going to happen, right? And if you're really good, let's go there. You just honestly, you're so good. You know how they're going to love it, and how they're going to be scared at this or surprised at that or whatever
Uh-huh.
it is that you've planned out this experience for them. Now
Uh-huh.
that experience is for them, not for you.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying,
And
okay,
so we have this understanding of love. We understand that that is not independent or alien to God's nature,
you
right?
do you
But we
do
understand we are the receivers
okay.
of this creation.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
so
y-
God's not doing it to test out his subjects. He's not a scientist, God, if you know what I mean.
Okay. So here's some problems, right? Um the problem with that is that you make a good point. Like, you expect people to, I guess, feel this love and return it to God. Is that the basic understanding of what you're saying? If I'm
Well,
understanding
God
it
is
the basic.
giving love freely, right? So the love
Okay.
is given freely.
Okay. So let's argue
So
with that.
it's
Let's focus on that. Okay. How do we know that he's doing this?
it's a bit of a segue, but that would go into, is it rational to believe God, not a God or not God, right? So you would have to figure out from that position. So are we starting with the premise of God? Because I don't think you can get to the assumptions that you have with a God, right, to prove it, right? That's where you go, okay, I'm happy with the fact that there is a God. Now that there is a God, what is he doing? Why is he doing it, right?
Okay.
But
So
if you're going into what is rational about this creation, do we go into infinite regression, the unmoved mover, the ability to intelligivize the universe? Is it intelligent to think that we can intelligivize a universe that is foundationally unintelligible because it's random and without purpose? There's these sort of questions we'd be going into if we're going, why God? Why is there a God?
okay. Okay.
Not why
So
did God?
okay. So the problem with that is you've created the concept of a god, and then you're basing your views on the world via a creation of your own. Do you see how that is flawed? They're
No, that would be just impossible. What you described, that's not flawed. That's just impossible to go. I have conceived myself, God, which is my own conception,
uh-huh.
and now I'm going to prove it. Right? We don't do that.
Okay.
Right? Well, if
But
people do it, they're like weird culty things, aren't they? Where they go, I understand what God is, by independent and purely novel means, right?
okay.
And then I'm going to convince people that my version is right.
Okay.
But if you're going, yeah,
So this is where you're going with your creation. This is what I was trying to point out. Your idea and creation of God, right, comes from where?
comes to what?
Comes from where? Where did your thought process or your creation of a or the idea of a God come from?
God. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm a little skeptical on that, but let's go
Of
with
course.
this. Let's go with this. Okay, how did God create itself for you? How did he present himself for you?
Well, this is where we talk about God reveals himself to us.
Yes.
right? So you can have
How
kind
did
of
he
natural
reveal?
revelation.
How did he reveal himself to you? Go with that.
Very, very boringly by me asking, like, about him in my mind, going to the Bible, and reading the scriptures, right,
Question.
in the explanation for it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Question. I'm sorry, but why would you need to go to something if there's a God who presents himself to you?
Because we have this experience in our intelligence of knowledge, right, and experience, right? So sometimes we experience something, right, and don't have any knowledge of it, right, but we've experienced it, and then we go to try and find knowledge to explain that experience. And sometimes we have knowledge of something, but we need to confirm that in an experience, right? And those two aspects of our intellect, our mind, right, both need to be present. We can't find anything satisfactory from purely knowledge without an experience, and certainly something that's just an experience without any knowledge of it would also be as baffling.
Okay, so
and
how about this? How about let me
when we go
point
to
out.
the scripture,
Wait,
that's
wait,
something
wait.
like the knowledge of.
Okay, so the thing about humanity is we have a collective knowledge kind of thing, right?
Theoretically, possibly, maybe. Depends if you think collective consciousness is real or not.
No. We have a collective knowledge, right? We are educated on certain
You mean like
things.
books in libraries and stuff?
Exactly. We have that kind of knowledge. Sure. That's collective knowledge. So the mere fact that I know for a fact there's nuclear power, I don't know to what extent that, how you create it, but I know it uses certain radioactive materials.
Experience without knowledge. Correct.
Right. So I base my understanding off of that stuff, right? So you're taking stuff like the Bible and I guess stories that were told to you by other individuals.
Right, but you have evidence of nuclear power, even though you don't have you don't have knowledge in your mind, right? You have the experience of nuclear power. You've seen nuclear power stations. You've seen some things maybe about what it is. You're like, it makes energy, and you're like, yes, you got it. Like, so it's like burning coal, but it like uses a different form of energy called nuclear energy. But correct. But I don't understand anything like that. And I go, okay, but you have burnt coal, and you're like, yeah, or wood. And you're like, yeah, and you understand it gives off heat. And you're like, yeah. And you're like, well, it's basically that. So you have knowledge and experience of that which is similar to that which is nuclear power. Though no, nuclear power is abstract. You have electricity. You know how electricity would be produced without nuclear power, because you go, oh, we used to have this bulb come on my house by a gas power station, but that got shut down. Now it's a nuclear power station. So I still experience the evidence of the phenomena of what a nuclear power station is, and that is still grounded in evidential experience, of which I do have knowledge of as well. So I have things which I have knowledge and experience of, which are not a part of, but connected to that which I can have experience of, but not knowledge, or knowledge of without experience, but because I have other phenomena which are similar, right, which I can have a unified dialectic of, right, in the kind of experience, knowledge, experience, right, in my intellect, I can go, well, this idea of nuclear is not so far removed. It's not so alien, even though it's an experience without knowledge. I have experience of its phenomena, of which I have experience and knowledge. So it's connected to that which is grounded.
Okay, so
not ungrounded.
Okay, so we both have the same kind of understanding where it comes. But the thing that I want to point at is that I can go to a nuclear plant, or I can learn how to create a nuclear power plant to generate the electricity and all that kind of stuff, right? This is where the collective knowledge comes in. But the thing about it is, religion has no real ability to prove that there's a God, and I can't go and speak to this God, and I can't find proof of this God's existence.
Well, it's even worse than that. He's invisible. Even though you hear the wind, you know not where it blows from.
Yes, right? You can. You can literally know where the wind blows, because you can understand how circulation on the planet happens, how weather systems work. All this kind of stuff can tell you exactly where the wind is coming from, and you can understand how it works.
Yeah, if you have instruments, but if you're standing there and you hear the wind, right, but you don't feel it, right, you hear it because it's blowing off and it's making you go, oh, I can hear the wind, right?
Yes,
You're like,
but
well, where is it coming from? I don't know. I can't see it.
yes, but this is
Right? You
also
could,
this.
like you say, you could set up radar, instruments, and you could do all that, but that's
Mm-hmm,
not the point, right? Of
mm-hmm.
this phenomenon experiment where you're going, yes, I accept in these terms, I cannot see the wind, right? And you go, so you can't see where it's coming from. You go, no, but I can sense it. You go, fine. So just seeing something isn't necessary to have an understanding of something's nature, even to the point where, even though I can't see where it's coming from, I can use other senses and knowledge to determine where it came from or is going to.